Imagine sitting in a city of 8 million people and feeling completely invisible. You walk through crowded streets, pass hundreds of faces, sit in coffee shops full of noise and laughter, and yet something inside you feels completely empty. Like nobody really sees you. Nobody really knows you. You go home, close the door, and the silence hits you like a wall. This isn't a story about one person. This is the story of an entire nation. The United States of America, the most connected country in human history, is living through what doctors are now calling an epidemic. Not of a virus, not of a disease, but of loneliness. And it is quietly destroying millions of lives. Let's talk about the numbers, because they are staggering. In 2023, the U.S. Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, released an official advisory declaring loneliness a public health crisis in America. He stated that more than half of American adults, over 50%, report measurable levels of loneliness. Not just feeling a little sad on a Friday night. Clinical, chronic loneliness that affects their physical health, their mental health, their ability to function. Studies show that loneliness is as dangerous to your body as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It raises your risk of heart disease by 29%, stroke by 32%, dementia by a shocking 50%. People who feel chronically lonely die, on average, 15 years earlier than those who feel connected. And here's what makes this even more heartbreaking. We are more digitally connected than at any point in human history. We have smartphones, social media, video calls. We can talk to anyone on the planet in seconds. And yet, Americans have never felt more alone. To understand why America feels so lonely today, we have to go back in time. 50 years ago, the average American had 3 close friends, people they could call at 2 a.m. in a crisis. Today, that number has dropped to 1. And nearly 15% of Americans say they have no close friends at all. 0. None. What changed? Several things happened at once. First, the death of the third place. Sociologists call it the third place. Not home, not work, but the space in between. The local diner, the bowling alley, the church, the community park, the barbershop where everybody knew your name. These spaces were the glue of American social life for generations. But over the past 30 years, one by one, they've disappeared. Replaced by suburbs where everyone drives alone in their cars, never walking, never bumping into neighbors. Second, the rise of overwork culture. America is the only developed nation in the world with no mandated paid vacation. The average American works 47 hours per week. When you're working that much, you simply don't have time to maintain friendships. Relationships require time, and time is the one thing modern America doesn't give you. And third, the smartphone revolution. In 2012, something shifted dramatically in teen mental health data. Anxiety, depression, loneliness all began climbing at the same time. 2012 was the year smartphone adoption crossed 50% in America. A generation that grew up staring at curated highlight reels of other people's lives, comparing themselves, feeling left out, replacing face-to-face connection with likes and comments. And it didn't just affect teenagers, it affected everyone.
Here's the cruelest irony of the modern age. The tools that promise to connect us have made us more disconnected than ever. Social media was supposed to bring people together, and in some ways it did. You can stay in touch with family across the country, find communities of people who share your interests, reconnect with old friends. But something darker happened underneath all of that. When you scroll through Instagram or TikTok, you're not seeing real life. You're seeing the best 1% of everyone's life, carefully filtered, perfectly lit, strategically posted. Vacations, engagements, promotions, apps. And your brain, which evolved over millions of years to compare yourself to the people around you, takes all of this in and concludes everyone else is living a full, connected, happy life, and I am falling behind.
Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania did a study where they limited students' social media use to 30 minutes a day for 3 weeks. The result? Loneliness and depression dropped significantly. Not because they were spending more time with friends, but simply because they stopped watching everyone else's highlight reel. We traded depth for breadth. Instead of 3 close friends who truly know us, we have 500 followers who know our aesthetic.
Loneliness in America doesn't hit everyone equally. Some groups are suffering far more than others. Young men between the ages of 18 and 30 are experiencing a friendship crisis unlike anything seen before. Since 1990, the percentage of men with no close friends has increased by 500%. Young men today are less likely to be in relationships, less likely to have social groups, more likely to spend evenings alone. And the consequences are showing in rising rates of depression, substance abuse, and radicalization. Elderly Americans are another deeply affected group. 1 in 4 Americans over the age of 65 lives alone. Many go days, sometimes weeks, without meaningful human contact. Neighbors don't check in, family has moved away. The community structures that once looked after the old have quietly dissolved. And then there's a group nobody talks about: new parents, especially mothers. Studies show that new mothers in America rank among the loneliest groups in the country. Isolated at home, cut off from their careers and social circles, in a culture that celebrates motherhood but provides almost no village to support it. Loneliness is everywhere, but it hides in silence. We tend to think of loneliness as an emotional problem, a feeling, something to push through, man up, keep busy. But science is telling us something very different. Loneliness is a biological threat. When the human brain perceives social isolation, it triggers the same stress response as physical pain. Cortisol floods the body, inflammation increases, the immune system weakens, sleep quality deteriorates. Over time, this constant state of low-grade biological stress silently damages the heart, the brain, and every major system in the body. Dr. Vivek Murthy writes, and I want you to really hear this: loneliness is not a weakness, it is a signal. The same way hunger tells you that you need food, loneliness tells you that you need connection. It is one of the most fundamental human needs, and we have built a society that systematically denies it. We built highways instead of sidewalks, suburbs instead of neighborhoods, work culture instead of community culture. And now we are paying the price in our bodies, our minds, and our lives. Behind every statistic is a human being. There's a story of a 34-year-old software engineer in San Francisco. Good salary, great apartment, every comfort money can buy. He told a reporter, "I realized one day that if I disappeared, it would take at least 2 weeks before anyone noticed. Not because people are bad, but because I had built a life optimized for productivity and convenience, and quietly lost every real human bond along the way." There's a retired teacher in Ohio, 71 years old. Her husband passed. Her kids live in different states. She volunteers twice a week just to have somewhere to go, somewhere to be seen. She says, the hardest part isn't the sadness, it's the invisibility, feeling like you no longer matter to the world. And there's a 22-year-old college student in Texas who said, "I have 2,000 followers. I get hundreds of likes on my posts. But last month when I had a panic attack at 1 a.m., I couldn't think of a single person I could call." 3 different people, 3 different ages, 3 different cities. The same hollow feeling. This is America's loneliness epidemic. And it has a face. It has your face. It has my face.
So, is this just the way things are now? Is this the price we pay for modernity, for progress? Are we just doomed to be lonely? I don't think so. And neither do the millions of people who are pushing back.
Something extraordinary is happening quietly across America. People are rebuilding what was lost. Cities are redesigning neighborhoods to include walkable spaces, community gardens, and public gathering spots. Companies are experimenting with 4-day work weeks to give employees time to actually have lives. A movement of young people is deliberately choosing to live in co-housing communities, shared living spaces designed around connection, not isolation. In Japan, a country that faced its own loneliness crisis decades ago, the government created an entire ministry of loneliness. It invested in community programs, social prescribing, where doctors literally prescribe social activities the way they prescribe medicine. The results were measurable and real. And on an individual level, research consistently shows that the cure for loneliness is not complicated. It doesn't require an app. It doesn't require money. It requires something almost radical in modern life: showing up consistently for other people. A weekly phone call, a neighbor you actually talk to, a community group you attend not because it's convenient, but because human beings need each other. Dr. Robert Waldinger, who runs the longest study on happiness in human history, 85 years of data from Harvard, says the single greatest predictor of a long, happy, healthy life is not wealth, not fame, not success. It is the quality of your relationships. That's it. That's the whole answer.
Here's what I want to leave you with. If you watched this video and felt something, if something in here resonated, if you recognized yourself or someone you love in these stories, that recognition itself matters. Because loneliness thrives in silence. It survives because we are all too ashamed to admit we feel it, too afraid of being judged. So we perform fineness. We post the happy photos. We say, "I'm good," when someone asks. And the epidemic grows. But you are not broken. You are not weak. You are human. And humans need each other. That is not a flaw in your design. It is the most important feature. So today, not someday, today, reach out to one person you've been meaning to call. Check on the neighbor you haven't spoken to in months. Put down the phone and have a real conversation. It won't fix everything, but it's a start. And every deep human connection in history started exactly the same way, with one person deciding to show up for another. America is lonely, but it doesn't have to stay that way, and neither do you. If this video meant something to you, please share it, because the person who needs to hear this most is probably too lonely to ask for help. And subscribe for more stories that matter.